I am convinced that the learning process is more effective if we reverse the priority of thinking and writing. I am convinced, and in my experience at Pitt, seems to have been true, that I can get my students to think more clearly and sharply about the law if I can show them how to write more clearly and sharply about the law. And that reverses the traditional hierarchy of thinking clearly first and then being able to write clearly. The research that I mentioned, the scholarship that I mentioned, comes out of the copyright area, where I focus on issues of creativity, innovation, how to process new material, how to come up with new ideas. And so I've worked with psychological literature and some sociological literature, and I've discovered that that bleeds back into my teaching. It is about how learning evolves, right? How ideas crystallize, how new ideas emerge in one domain and then get applied to another domain, which is so much a part of legal reasoning. And understanding that the act of actually physically documenting that process, whether it's creating a new artwork, painting, sculpting, making a movie, coding a computer program, there's an enormous amount of learning that goes on in that process that you can't communicate just by talking through a lecture and having people read stuff and encouraging people to think critically about things. So the act of writing forces people to synthesize and reflect. They might not be aware of it. It might be subconscious, but it does in fact happen. And the side benefit, again, not that I anticipated that this would happen, the side benefit is that when I give my students these open-ended, open-textured, incomplete problems that don't have specific issues that they're expected to find, they usually are focused on particular things, but it's not an issue-spotting kind of exercise. I turn them loose. These are open memos. Any research, any resource that they want to rely on is fair game, just as it would be if you're a practicing lawyer. They'll dive in. I have had students come to my office while the projects were underway, pairs of students who've gone to the library shelves, they've pulled the treatise off of the shelf. They come to my office arguing about what the treatise means. This is a big win, right? I can get my students to invest during the term in the deep content of the law that I was never able to do when I was teaching with a classic law school semester-long lecture and exam format.